Welcome back to another episode of repair and restoration of the Hobie 16 Ula Ula. Today we're going to check on our progress we made yesterday with the epoxy and fiberglass layups. We're going to take some sheet goods, break them down, make a repair patch for our broken section of the boat, and also start working on some patterns for some bulkheads. Pretty happy with the last job we did yesterday. She's hardened up pretty nicely. One of the other things we're going to do is we're going to take the Dremel and kind of clean up these edges here for kind of the fiberglass overlay to kind of get a nice smooth surface, as well as cut out this section here, this little tab kind of holding off. I wanted to give some structure before I took that piece off so we can kind of fill in that little, you can kind of see daylight down there, that little hole there. We'll also break down some plywood and cut out some plywood patches. We'll do a double layer of plywood, resin all sides, glue those in. Trying to figure out some clamping methods. Might do a mix of clamps, as well as I might go ahead and shoot some screws through. I'm not worried about putting some more holes in, and we can always fill those later. I'd rather get a good glue up and patch some holes later than have a delamination situation. Let's go break down some plywood. So we still have this patch that we cut out from the damaged area. I'm going to use that as my pattern. Kind of have measured out here, give myself about 19 inches. We'll go rip this full length sheet because we can use that material to start cutting out bulkheads as well. I already have the table saw set up. So we're going to go ahead and grab this piece and get cutting. Alright, so got our plywood broken down. I'm gonna go ahead and trace her out. And just like we've been doing, let's go ahead and continue to cut our curves using the table saw. Curves just a series of straight lines, so that's all we're really doing here. Just cutting a bunch of straight lines. See, not too bad. I'll go ahead and give a quick test fit and see how we like it. Okay, so getting the Dremel set up and kind of clean up some of the areas that are kind of holding the pattern off. Kind of trim these like sharp hairs that the fiberglass is kind of poking out, and this little tab that's kind of pushing me off, and I'm kind of just slowly work it in. I got the wood piece in. Not looking for like the tightest of fit. Kind of want to stand off the edges a little bit so the plywood doesn't get pushed off by any material I didn't clean up. Kind of have this funky temporary clamp set up. I'm just kind of holding the plywood in place. It feels like it's pretty good as far as sitting up against. I just got some used 80 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to run it along all the edges, just to kind of break the sharpness a bit. Alright, so we're going to kind of slightly sand, just hand sand the surface just to rough it up. Wipe it out with some acetone and then mix up some epoxy. Some 150, just a little hand sand, and yeah. Just have some acetone here. We're just going to put on a paper towel or some gloves. I'm just going to wipe down the area and let that dry while we prep our epoxy. I'm also going to, because it is an uneven surface, I'm going to put another layer of the matte glass, wet it out, then wet the side of the plywood, and get it nice, good and clamped. And then while that's gluing up, we can move on and start making some bulkheads. All right, so we're ready to mix epoxy. We got everything ready. Got a little bit bigger of a roller tray today. It's a little bit warmer. I also moved closer to my work area. We're gonna have a little bit less working time today. It's about 73, 75 degrees. Again, using Total Boat epoxy, traditional 5:1 with the slow hardener with 5:1 pumps. So 1 part hardener, 5-part resin, but with these pumps, it's 1-1. We're going to first wet out our cutout glue piece. Then we're going to wet out our area. We're going to put on the matte cloth fiberglass. We're going to put our piece on. I have a series of clamps already preset, and I also have these little screws with these little wooden washers to fasten into the material. I have a wooden backer on the exterior of the boat, as you can see there, which I will be able to screw into. So again, I like to tape my rollers, get all the little fuzzies off, and you take the painter's tape off. Rollers prepped out. I have a chip brush over there. I have my metal epoxy roller. These little guys brush out the cloth. The area. This is a glue up. I'm trying to move a little bit more quickly. These will probably move around as we're trying to fit our clamps. Alright, so feel pretty good about that. You can kind of see our little screws with their wooden washers helping us with some clamping pressure. We got the clamps kind of in the spreader orientation, and then this big wooden clamp. Get as much pressure up top as I can. Notice I have a little bit of space along the edges. I'm okay with that. We're going to come back in with epoxy and glass fibers and fill those and do another coat of glass. You can see on the back side that backer plate I used to give some bite for the screws to grab into, and it kind of helped use the shape of the boat to kind of pull that piece into its final position. So we'll go ahead and let this cure up while we work on making some patterns for some bulkheads to go here, 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 and here. So 4. All right, so I went ahead and prepared some pattern making stock, and as you can see in the boat, I've drawn some station lines. Those are essentially where bulkheads are going to be, and I made some pattern stock. So I'm going to kind of hot glue gun kind of triangle pieces and then use the little pattern tabs to be able to mark out the curve and then transfer that to So got the bulkheads cut in place. They have a pretty decent little fit. I'll do a little more fitting tomorrow, but pretty good start. And once this cures up tomorrow, I'll be able to move those clamps out the way and get that additional bulkhead fitted.